Hello YouTube, this is HunterSerge of the Brawler Cafe, bringing you my first recorded match video from the Upper Hand tournament that we had 2 days ago. This will be going up today on Thursday, so it will have happened 2 days ago. Now for these first two rounds, I just want to say up front here that the camera angle is not fantastic. I got there only like 5 minutes before the tournament was set to start because one of my buses was was late, and that caused me to miss my next bus. So I had to wait an extra half hour. So I got there much earlier than I intended to, and I had to get right into things, and I didn't really get the opportunity to find the best spot to record. By the time the last round comes around, round 3, I have switched to a much better spot. But in this first round, we unfortunately have this bad camera angle where you won't really be able to see my deck and my discard pile. Still, it was better than I expected it to be overall, though. So I am running Haos and Nillious because I love this deck. I've wanted to play it for a while. I've been waiting on Haos Nillious' core single to come out, and it still hasn't shown up in my local area, but it has shown up in Mississauga. So I got Zionic to pick me up the core single before this tournament. So I was able to use it, and it rolls great. I've heard a lot of people complain about Haos Nillious in particular not rolling well and not opening well, but like, despite what you're going to see in this first game. So basically, I kind of want to split my commentary between practicing a live commentary style and doing the post-game analysis that I did the last time. So for this one, I am going to be doing it very much in the style of the last video I did. However, for round 2 and 3, I'm going to be trying to do more of a live commentary style because, like, if there's an opportunity to do that sort of commentary over an actual live tournament in the future, then I want to have experience and practice doing so. So I chose this game in particular to do a post-game commentary over because it's very important to my mentality for the rest of the tournament, because you're going to see as we go through this first game that I do not open much at all, and I'm often getting knocked away by his Bakugan. So like there, his Garganoid knocked me away. And this causes me by the end of game 2 / beginning of game 3 to completely change how I'm setting up my core matrix. But I'll go into that when we get to that. Now the one other thing I'll say, and I'll probably reiterate in the deck profile that I'll probably be putting up tomorrow, the one thing I would absolutely change about this deck first thing is swap out Ventus Trox for Ventus Pegatrix. It was pretty feels bad every time I won with Trox and only got off 1 damage, especially because I know, hey, Ventus Pegatrix exists, has literally, as long as I'm on a magic shield, has literally the exact same beat power, but has 3 more damage, and its Evo is way, way better. So in the future, I would definitely be going with Ventus Pegatrix over Ventus Trox, but for today I was going with Ventus Trox, and it was kind of a liability. It was more of a liability than Haos Nillious. But I get off the turn 2 energy. I have Nillious in hand. It's not going to matter because I'm going to be missing so much in this game that I'm never going to be able to take advantage of that Nillious. I lose this first game pretty hard because I keep missing, I keep getting knocked away. And then later I start trying to modify my rolls to swerve away from where he's going, but that ends up forcing me to go towards where there's less cores, and that causes me to miss more often, or just in general screw up my rolls. So yeah, that does not go fantastically. So my opponent is, of course, running a mono Aquos deck. Basically, it's using an Aurora, so it's not getting full power on Flooding Waters. And I feel like Garganoid is a bit of a liability on this team, as it will probably be seen later on. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But I hit the stand together at this point. Since I'm running Haos Ventus, I'm of course carrying, and because it's Battle Brawlers and you have so much space, like, no joke, there's so much more space to just put in stuff like extra flips in Battle Brawlers decks in comparison to Resurgence decks, because Resurgence adds so many more good cards. But in Battle Brawlers, you don't have all those, and so it's really easy to just slide in some tech stuff or slide in 6 flips instead of 3. My stance going to hardline, you should probably try to stick to 3 flips, is mostly a result of deck building for Resurgence and realizing that there's so little space to actually be running flips. So yeah. So I am taking a big old team attack at this point. It was what, 5, 7, 13 damage? 13 damage on that team attack, I believe, and I hit the Tiger Reflex at one point in it to survive, but it's not going to matter. Like, I am so far behind at this point. Like, he has almost 20 cards ahead of me in deck. And it's just like, this is not a very good situation at all. Especially with the positioning of the magic shields right now. Like, if he aims for that middle magic shield, there's no cores impeding that path for him, unless he puts something in the way. He might be putting something in the way. I can't remember. But yeah, that is not a very good situation to be in. Yeah, he puts one with the Flaming Fist over there. His core positioning was really weird. I really don't know what to make of this core positioning. Like, he constantly puts it over to the side. I don't mean to be mean when I say that. It's just bizarre, and just looking at it again has me going, why is it like that? Like, I don't get why you put cores to the side like that so often, especially when they're your own cores and they're beneficial cores. And yeah, I try to go swerve out of the way, but that causes my roll to curve and completely miss the hide matrix. And exactly like I said, he just aims down that middle, and since there's no cores to impede him, he just lands on that magic shield. I hit Tiger Reflex basically immediately, but I'm down to less than 10 cards. Like, coming back from this is practically undoable, and I believe I'm like out of flips at this point. I've exhausted them. Up there at that max hand size, because I've been completely unable to use my hand cards because I keep missing. Very frustrating experience. Very annoying. I do finally get a stand with Aurelius Howlcore, blocking him this time quite effectively, and even grabbing that magic shield for that big damage. Something I came to really appreciate over the course of this tournament was how good Aurelius Howlcore Ultra is, because like no stops except for Pact are live on turn 2, so you can very easily get in like 9 to 12 uninterrupted damage from him, and it's really fantastic. Like, it's super good, to the point where I think I might actually try to keep this in post BR, post Nillious and Cubbo and that stuff. Like, I'm really tempted to try and keep this guy in, because oh that's good. That is a good Bakugan. That high damage count is really handy when you're rolling this out on turn 2, winning with it on turn 2 or turn 1. I say turn 2 specifically so that you can potentially go, hey, I'm gonna drop my Evo. So you know. But post BR, you could just use Super Fuel to do that on turn 1 anyway, so you know. Yeah. Yeah, and here he is pumping up his damage. He really only needed the, yeah. Right, yeah, I won't be able to pay for any of my flips at this. No, if I hit Domination, I would have been able to. But like, all he really needed was that extra 1 damage to secure the kill. And that's just game. Like, I just missed constantly, and it was really frustrating. It was a really frustrating experience. I'm glad I was able to turn this around in the future games. Now, I was still pretty flustered at this point from that first game, so I did not actually adapt my core placement at this point. And early in this game, I'm still running into the same issues. And I count myself fairly lucky that I was able to get through this second game with winning. Like, if you haven't seen Ziana close the round, I did win the whole thing. So yeah, all these are going to be wins for me. Spoiler. But yeah, I'm still setting it up on the 3-line format. And basically, what I realized over the course of this game. So for weeks, for probably at least a month, I've been seeing a certain 2-column setup. And asking people, hey, why do you do this? I don't get why you do this. And literally no one has been able to give me a satisfactory answer, despite me asking that forever. But in this tournament, in this round, I very quickly discovered the real reason to do it. The real reason to do it is that by forcing the hide matrix to have a longer length, it makes it harder for your rolls to get interrupted by your opponent's rolls. Because the point on the field where they're opening is farther away. So you're much more likely to be able to open before you run into the opponent's Bakugan and get knocked off course. Like, just happened there. It literally just happened there. Yeah. That is basically the reason to do that. Now, the specific one I've seen where the 2 lines are not aligned, like only the center line is aligned and the 2 other lines are off from each other, I don't actually get that one too much. I think that one is not something that I would aim for just for the sake of safety net, but, you know, I'm not quite on board with that one, but, oh, yeah, and here, so here I almost miss entirely, but he missed too. But I grabbed the Flaming Fist, which is just as good, like, in the case of here, because he's using the plus 150B, plus 4 damage Flaming Fist, it is literally just as good as hitting a Magic Shield, well, until I evolve, because I would have gotten, like, 2 extra damage if it was a Magic Shield, but regardless. So yeah, I'm basically getting full output from Hellcore, 2 short of if I had gotten a Magic Shield, but I don't actually always want to be using Magic Shields in this deck, because end of the day, I only have 3 on my first round of rolls, on the first couple rounds leading up to the first team attack. I want to be rolling Haos Nillious last because he's pretty weak in base form, and once I get to turn 4, it becomes a beast. But I also kind of want there to be multiple Magic Shields on the field, so that Haos Nillious actually has another one to grab. So yeah, that's a whole thing. Yeah, I tried to... Okay, so this is where I make probably my stupidest decision in the entire game. So at the start of this turn, I choose not to charge because I have turn 2 energy in hand, and I want to use that. Don't do this. Don't do this. Like, if turn 2 energy at that point, if I have nothing else that I want to charge, it's not actually helping anything. I'm just paying 2 for what I could have done at the start of the turn by default. Now, it did have a slight benefit here, where I was able to draw out that Turbo Blast Cannon negate. Yeah, here we both just keep missing. Which is what I meant at the start. Haos Nillious was great, notwithstanding what happens here. Because, like, basically everywhere else in the game, I managed to stand Haos Nillious without fail, as it was when I was testing rolling before the tournament started, to make sure that, because I wanted to make sure, like, I wanted to do a bit of testing to check if he had any of the issues I'd heard. But here, I get a double core pickup on Haos Nillious base. Like, I didn't even need to evolve. I just got the double core pickup on the base form. It was amazing. It was actually insane. I've like never seen this happen on Haos Nillious, but it happened. And the really great thing here is my opponent picked up my Helix Core, which, while that puts him up to 1100, it also puts him to 0 damage. If I lose here, I don't actually lose anything. On the other hand, he has big incentive to not lose here because there's a big team attack incoming. But I have the power of Haos and Ventus, and I've had this Nature's Power sitting in my hand forever, and it's going to help me along real good. And in addition to that, I have Domination, because he's only stood as Patrix prior to that, and I'm about to go on a team attack, and I have 2 cores of Nillious, so Domination with ease. So that's going to fairly easily put me in the lead. And he is down to 2 unspent energy, which means he cannot use any of his counter Outsiders flips. So he's just going to take the full brunt of this team attack and put him down to pretty much no deck. Yeah. So yeah, this is the point where I actually start adapting how I'm setting up my cores, when I'm putting somewhere in between the initial field setup and this point. I realize, wait, I can extend the length of the hide matrix to make it harder for my rolls to get interrupted by running into his Bakugan. So I start doing that at this point when I'm putting stuff back after the team attack. So yeah, he is down to no deck, so I can go with literally anything. I'm of course going to go with, going to end up going with Aurelius Howlcore here because he's the strongest member of the team. And Ultras, I find, tend to have much more success with opening. Like, I don't know, I feel like Ultras have stronger magnets. I just always find them to open more consistently than anything else. And the jump makes, well, no, the jump makes it so that they can do some blocking. But yeah, I'm up at 1550. He's down at 450. So that was an easy finisher. So now we proceed to game 3, where I fully take into account my new core placement knowledge and completely set up this 2-column setup to give myself distance from his stuff, so that it is way harder for him to be interrupting me or causing any shenanigans to happen. Yeah. And then of course placing down the magic shields last because I want those all up close to me. Yeah. So I believe I open into Titan Nillious here. So I am all... I opened into Hyper Howlcore, Turn to Energy, and Titan Nillious. So I have like a pretty good setup. I might have had Super Sean in there too. I'm not entirely sure. But I have a pretty solid setup of stuff. And now I finally have a first roll that actually opens. Trux is a big old boy sitting at 1150. Yeah, and he doesn't really have any plays here, so I'm able to just get that 1 damage in. Oh man, if this was Pegatrix, that would be 4 damage. Much more significant. But yeah. I have many options, so I just draw into Tiger Reflex, and that's just an instant charge. I have the Hyper Howlcore and the Turn to Energy in my hand, so I have many options, several options for plays. Ideally, I'll be able to turn to Energy so that I can play down Titan Nillious on my turn 3. And we both miss initially, which is really annoying for me because Howlcore kind of starts to grab that magic shield, so I miss. So I get that magic shield kind of away from the hide matrix, which is going to make it really annoying to aim for going forward. But he misses, I land, and I've got the big 9 damage that is very difficult to stop. I decide to hold off on the Hyper Howlcore because I don't think it's worth the extra 3 damage, when I can instead go for Turn to Energy, and allow myself to get Titan Nillious out on the turn 3. Which is very, very impactful. Yeah. Of course, as I said, that magic shield is very, very difficult for me to aim for, but I'm able to block him there. I'm able to block him there myself, returning the favor from game 1, and pick up a Helix. Not a magic shield, but about as good. And evolve to get some extra damage. So this is a big ol' 17 damage on this team attack. So big stuff happening. And he hits counter outsiders on the very last card, which is quite unfortunate for him. Good old flip RNG. A very, very good feeling mechanic. Those flips, they are. I'll never stop. You can't make me stop. So yeah, at this point, that magic shield is not going to be so much of an issue because he's going to allow me to place it back along the field, and I'm able to put back my other 2 magic shields. And he has very little deck left, so like I just need to get in a good blow with either Titan Nillious or Howlcore. Like both of those are within kill range. Both of those can just kill him on this next turn. And that'll just finish things. I draw into Titan Trox here, and I just charge. I'm not sure what I charge. I think I charged a Wayne because I hadn't seen any Evos out of him. So it's like that isn't going to be useful. I'm about to win anyways. And just in case it goes past this from misses or whatever, I want to keep the Titan Trox so that I can make Trunks bigger. But I just roll out the Titan Nillious, grab the magic shield, grab another magic shield, up to 2300 versus a very small 300B Garganoid boy. And at that point, it's like, well, you have to gain 2100B to get over me, and I have not spent a single energy yet. So you're not in a good spot at all. You're not very likely to come out on top here. Like, technically, I could have grabbed a Flaming Fist here for that 15 damage, but he's already in kill range, so why would I do that? Just get the bigger B to make it basically impossible for him to match up to my B power. That's just the better thing to do. That's the better route to go. That's the better life to live. But yeah, he has no flips left in his deck at this point. So that just closes it out. That is round 1 of Haos Titan Nillious' clean sweep. But yeah, that early game misses just completely alter how I end up setting up my core matrices for the rest of the entire tournament, as you will see in the rest of the match videos that will be going up throughout the week. I'm going to make sure to have them all out before next Tuesday, before the next tournament happens. And as I said, tomorrow I will likely be putting out a deck profile for the deck I used. So yeah, look forward to that. And this is HunterSerge signing off.